Okay, here we are at the second component of creating a strong linkage between coastal Northwest Cape Coral neighborhoods and our estuary and shoreline at Charlotte Harbor. You're going to see some video later from a drone that shows the position of where we're standing now relative to the Charlotte Harbor shoreline. We're envisioning starting at this point, and we're standing on City of Cape Coral right-of-way at this point. Just beyond me, behind me, is the Charlotte Harbor State Park Preserve. If you were to actually hike about 3/10 of a mile to the northwest through some old tidal creeks and feral hog trails, you will eventually reach the Charlotte Harbor shoreline. Most people don't realize that the Charlotte Harbor shoreline in Northwest Cape Coral is so close to actual city right-of-way property. So, and this, by the way, is probably my favorite part of Northwest Cape Coral, where we're standing, and the nature trails beyond it. But the foundation envisions participating in a project with the City of Cape Coral, State of Florida, DEP, to create a parking area, generally where I'm standing, so that people can drive up, park, and then enter the State Park Preserve at this approximate location through a boardwalk that would run about 3/10 of a mile over to the Charlotte Harbor shoreline. There's already a nature trail that State of Florida DEP maintains, and it's maybe 1.25 miles north of where I'm standing, and you access it from one of the streets in Northwest Cape Coral. There's a parking lot already up there, but then it's a 6/10 of a mile hike over to the shoreline of Charlotte Harbor. This accessible route is half that distance, about 3/10 of a mile, and it would be accessible from a parking lot on City of Cape Coral property. The other advantage of this location is, with a boardwalk of 3/10 of a mile, it can be totally accessible to those with disabilities, perhaps even in wheelchairs, to get out there. The other state-maintained trail is a pretty primitive trail and not really conducive to those with disabilities. This one would let all residents of Cape Coral, really the whole region, access the Charlotte Harbor shoreline from a really good vantage point. So we envision the boardwalk. We envision, once you arrive at the shoreline itself, perhaps a fishing pier or at least an observation platform as a terminal point for the boardwalk. Along the way, there are a lot of interesting things to observe on the nature trails, some of the native mangroves along the coastline. So a lot of wildlife, obviously, out in this area. But the point is, this is an accessible point that gets Northwest Cape Coral residents out to the shoreline of Charlotte Harbor. It's a beautiful sunset. It's just a gorgeous place to be. You don't have to drive 30, 40, 50 miles to find a really good shoreline so close to home. And that's what we'd like to see with foundation participation with the city and the state of Florida.